Part 1. What actually matters in your 30s? Hey there. If you're watching this, chances are you've had one of those moments recently. Maybe it was waking up with a stiffness that didn't exist a decade ago, or scrolling through social media, seeing friends buying homes, starting families, or switching careers. While you're wondering if you're measuring up, maybe it's just this quiet, persistent whisper. Is this it? Am I focusing on the right things? I get it. Your 30s hit different. It's not the frantic energy of your 20s, but it's not settled complacency either. It's this powerful, often confusing, in-between space where the stakes feel higher, time feels faster, and suddenly, what actually matters becomes incredibly urgent. You know, in our 20s, life often feels like a wide-open buffet. We sample everything: jobs, relationships, cities, hobbies. It's about exploration, figuring out who we might be. But the 30s? That's when the menu starts to narrow. Not because we have fewer options, but because we start to understand what truly nourishes us. We begin to crave depth over breadth, sustainability over spectacle. It's less about collecting experiences and more about cultivating a life that feels genuinely good, resilient, and meaningful, especially when life inevitably throws curveballs. And it will. That's why figuring out what to truly invest in now isn't just helpful. It's foundational for the decades to come. So, let's talk about what actually moves the needle in this pivotal decade. Not the noise, not the societal checklists, but the quiet pillars that build a life of substance, resilience, and authentic joy. Let's start with something so fundamental, so obvious, that we often neglect it until our body forces us to pay attention. Our physical vessel. Remember pulling all-nighters in your 20s and bouncing back with a coffee and a grin? Yeah, that ship has usually sailed by the time we hit our 30s. Suddenly, energy isn't an infinite resource. It's a precious currency we have to manage. And how we treat our bodies becomes the absolute bedrock of everything else. It's not about chasing six-pack abs or running marathons, unless that's your joy. It's about sustainable respect for the machine that carries you. Think consistent, gentle movement, a daily walk that clears your head, yoga that eases the desk job stiffness, finding a way to sweat that you don't dread. It's about fueling yourself in a way that makes you feel vibrant, not deprived, swapping the constant processed fuel for real food that actually powers your day. And sleep. Oh, sleep stops being a luxury and becomes non-negotiable maintenance. When you prioritize these things, movement, nourishment, rest, you're not just investing in fewer aches or better genes. You're investing in the energy to show up fully for your career, your passions, your kids, your partner. You're investing in mental clarity to make better decisions. You're building resilience against stress. It's the ultimate act of self-respect, and frankly, it becomes the engine that drives everything else forward. Ignoring this now isn't just uncomfortable. It sets a trajectory for chronic issues later that can steal your vitality when you need it most. Listen to those whispers from your body. The fatigue, the niggling pains. They're not just annoyances, they're valuable feedback. Start small. Park farther away. Swap one soda for water. Get to bed 30 minutes earlier. These tiny deposits in your physical bank account compound massively over time. Now, let's talk about something else that shifts dramatically in our 30s. Our relationship with money. In our 20s, money often feels abstract, something we chase for experiences or immediate needs. Paycheck to paycheck is almost a rite of passage. But by our 30s, the abstraction fades. Reality hits. Maybe it's the desire for stability, the thought of kids, caring for aging parents, or simply the exhaustion of financial anxiety. Suddenly, understanding where your money goes isn't about restriction. It's about creating freedom and security. This isn't about becoming a stock market wizard overnight. It starts with the profoundly unsexy but utterly vital foundation, knowing your numbers. Where does your money actually go each month? Tracking it, even roughly, shines a light on leaks you never noticed. That daily latte habit, the subscriptions you forgot about, the impulse buys that add up. Awareness is power. From there, it's about building buffers. An emergency fund isn't just a nice to have. It's your shield against life's inevitable surprises, the car breakdown, the unexpected medical bill, the job hiccup. Aiming for even a small buffer, say 1 month's expenses, takes a massive weight off your shoulders. It changes how you breathe. And then, looking ahead, are you contributing, even minimally, to retirement? Starting in your 30s, thanks to compound interest, is infinitely easier than playing frantic catch-up later. It's not about having it all figured out or earning a massive salary. It's about intentionality. It's about making conscious choices. Does this purchase align with my deeper goals for security, freedom, or future dreams? Financial stability in your 30s isn't about being rich. It's about reducing the constant background hum of anxiety and creating space to breathe, make choices, and build a future that feels secure. It's peace of mind you can actually bank on. And woven through both our physical health and our financial foundation is something equally vital, yet often taken for granted until it's strained. The quality of our connections. We've all felt it. The slow drift from friends as lives get busier. The way family dynamics shift as responsibilities grow. The effort required to nurture a partnership beyond the initial spark. In our 30s, the sheer volume of obligations can make relationships feel like another item on a never-ending to-do list. But here's the shift. It's no longer about how many people you know. It's about the depth and authenticity of the connections you nurture. It's about moving from a wide network to a deep well. Think about it. Who are the people who truly see you? Who can you be utterly real with, without the performance? Who shows up when things get tough? These are the relationships that become lifelines. Investing time and genuine energy in them. Not just scrolling through their updates, but having that phone call, making the effort for coffee, being fully present when you're together. This becomes non-negotiable. It also means becoming braver about setting boundaries, saying no to draining interactions or superficial obligations to say yes to what truly feeds your soul. It means having the sometimes uncomfortable conversations needed to maintain intimacy in a long-term partnership. It means showing up for your parents in new ways as roles subtly shift. This deep relational work is where we find true belonging, support, and understanding. It's the warmth that makes the struggles worthwhile. It's the shared laughter that lightens the load. Neglecting these deep roots in the busyness of the 30s can lead to a profound sense of isolation later, no matter how successful you appear. So look around. Who matters most? Pick up the phone. Schedule the lunch. Have the real talk. Invest in your tribe. That depth of connection is the invisible fabric that holds a meaningful life together. So, we've started laying the groundwork, honoring our physical selves to fuel the journey, building financial stability to create space and reduce fear, and nurturing deep, authentic connections for true belonging. These aren't glamorous overnight transformations, but they are the bedrock. They create the stability and resilience we need to navigate everything else this decade throws at us, the career pivots, the family choices, the personal evolutions. Because the 30s aren't just about doing, they're fundamentally about building a life with intention, on foundations that can truly last. And building that life requires looking beyond just survival and stability. It means asking bigger questions about purpose, growth, and learning to shed the weights that hold us back. That's exactly where we're headed next, exploring how to cultivate meaning and shed the expectations that no longer serve us. Let's keep going. Part 2. What actually matters in your 30s? So, we've got that solid foundation under us, treating our bodies with respect, building that financial breathing room, and nurturing those deep, life-giving connections. It's like finally clearing the clutter off the workbench, so you can actually build something meaningful. Because that's really what this decade starts to whisper, doesn't it? It's less about just keeping up, and more about figuring out what you truly want to build for yourself. And that brings us right to the heart of something that can feel incredibly liberating, and maybe a little daunting: shedding the weight of other people's expectations. Think about it. How much of what you're chasing or stressing over is genuinely yours? The pressure to hit certain career milestones by a certain age? The societal script about marriage, kids, home ownership? The constant, low-grade hum of comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel on social media? In our 20s, we're often still figuring out who we are, so it's natural to look outward for cues. But in our 30s, that external compass starts to feel off. It creates this background noise of anxiety, this feeling of never quite measuring up, even if you're objectively doing well. The shift here isn't about becoming defiant or rejecting everything. It's about developing a quiet, inner confidence to ask, does this path, this goal, this standard actually resonate with me? Does it align with the values I'm discovering matter most? This is where the real power lies. It's about recognizing the sheer energy drain of living according to someone else's script. That energy is precious. Imagine redirecting it towards what genuinely lights you up. Shedding expectations looks like giving yourself permission to redefine success on your own terms. Maybe it's stepping off the corporate ladder to start a small business that fuels your soul, even if it means a smaller paycheck for a while. Maybe it's choosing not to have kids, or embracing a different kind of family structure. Maybe it's realizing that owning a big house isn't worth the stress and maintenance for you, and finding deep contentment in a simpler space. It means learning to say no, firmly, kindly, but without apology, to obligations, events, or relationships that drain you, simply because you feel you should. It means unfollowing accounts that make you feel inadequate, and curating your information diet to support your peace of mind. This shedding isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing practice of checking in with yourself, questioning the shoulds, and consciously choosing what stays and what goes. It's incredibly freeing. It reduces resentment, quietens the noise, and makes space for what truly belongs in your life. And what rushes into that space you've cleared? Purpose. Now, let's not get intimidated by that word. Purpose in your 30s isn't necessarily about finding one grand, world-changing mission, though it could be. It's about connecting your actions, your time, and your energy to something that feels meaningful beyond just yourself. It's about identifying the threads that make you feel alive, useful, and connected to something larger. This often blooms from asking different questions. Not what job pays the most, but what kind of problems do I enjoy solving? What activities make me lose track of time? Where do I feel my unique skills or perspective could genuinely help? Your purpose might be found in excelling and finding deep satisfaction within your current career, contributing value to your team or company. It might be fiercely nurturing your family and creating a loving, stable home. It could be expressed through creative pursuits, writing, painting, music, woodworking, that feed your soul, regardless of external recognition. It might be volunteering for a cause you deeply believe in, mentoring younger people in your field, or simply being the incredibly present, supportive friend or neighbor. The key is that it feels meaningful to you. It provides a sense of direction, a reason to get up beyond just paying bills. It combats that feeling of drifting or stagnation that can sometimes creep in. Discovering and nurturing this sense of purpose is an active process. It requires experimentation, paying attention to what sparks joy or a sense of contribution, and giving yourself permission to pursue it, even in small ways. Maybe it's carving out an hour a week for that hobby you love, or volunteering one Saturday a month. These small acts of alignment build momentum and deepen your sense of who you are and why you're here. Purpose isn't always loud. Often, it's the quiet hum of knowing your actions matter in your own sphere. Now, here's something beautiful that naturally flows from shedding expectations and connecting with purpose: a rekindled love for growth. Remember that insatiable curiosity of childhood? The why and how about everything? Somewhere along the line, especially in the grind of early adulthood, that flame can dim. We get busy, we get comfortable, or maybe we just get a little stuck. But your 30s are the perfect time to fan that flame back to life. This isn't about adding more pressure to level up constantly. It's about embracing the mindset that you are never finished, that learning and evolving is not just possible, but deeply enriching. It keeps your mind sharp, your perspective fresh, and honestly, it makes life a lot more interesting. Continuous growth in your 30s looks different than cramming for exams. It's more intentional, more self-directed. It could be diving deep into a topic related to your work, finally taking that coding course, or learning a new language for an upcoming trip. It could be exploring philosophy, history, or science, just for the sheer joy of understanding the world better. It might be picking up a completely new skill, just for fun: pottery, gardening, playing the guitar, embracing the awkward beginner stage with humor. It's also crucially about inner growth, developing emotional intelligence, learning better communication skills, understanding your own triggers and patterns through therapy, meditation, or simply mindful reflection. This commitment to growth combats stagnation. It builds resilience because you become more adaptable. It fosters humility because you remember what it's like to not know. And it feeds that sense of purpose. The more you learn and grow, the more you have to offer the world in your own unique way. Make learning a non-negotiable part of your life, not as a chore, but as an adventure. Read books that challenge you. Listen to diverse podcasts. Have conversations with people who see the world differently. Stay curious. It's the antidote to feeling stuck and the fuel for a vibrant life. Shedding the heavy coat of shoulds, connecting to what genuinely feels purposeful, and committing to lifelong growth. These are powerful shifts. They move us from reacting to life to consciously shaping it. But even with these anchors, life in your 30s comes with its own unique intensity. Responsibilities multiply, pressures can feel overwhelming, and unexpected challenges are guaranteed. To navigate this without burning out or losing ourselves, we need one more crucial skill: mastering our inner world. It's about building the emotional resilience and self-awareness that allows us to weather the storms and truly savor the sunshine. Because building a meaningful life isn't just about the structures we create or the goals we pursue. It's fundamentally about how we relate to ourselves amidst it all. That inner landscape, how we manage stress, process emotions, and cultivate peace, becomes the bedrock of everything else. That's exactly where we're heading next.